of pill beans, but there are extra formulas in there for determining the initial pressure support setting. If you tell me pressure support of 10, because that's what all the hospitals have it on, wrong answer. There's actually other ways of figuring out where you should actually start your pressure support. And a lot of it is based on, what are the two things you said pressure support does? There's two things it does.
It stands open the
Keeps the alveoli open.
No. What did you say?
No,
I'm sorry? Pressure support. What does pressure support do?
It helps with the tidal volume.
Okay, it helps with the tidal volume. It augments the spontaneous tidal volume, but what else does it do? Not exhale, inhale. Remember, with pressure support, we have an excess of flow going past the Y. So now the patient only has to breathe in from here. This is only on spontaneous breath, not on machine breath. Remember, with pressure support, your patient's breathing mostly spontaneously. So you want to make it easier for them to get it right.
Okay.
Yeah. Everybody okay?
Yes.
There's going to be formulas for an initial setting based on the patient's needs on what their process
Right. And I know there's one in the old pill beam. I don't know if it's the same as in the new pill beam because I haven't had a chance to
And
look
is
at
that
that
the
yet.
sensitivity
But I know
you're
it's
talking
interesting
about
as
earlier?
well,
The
huh?
sensitivity
You haven't
you were
learned it.
talking about earlier?
No,
Oh,
sensitivity has nothing to do with that.
Oh, okay.
Now we're talking about the patients getting the best possible breath. When let's go to a spontaneous mode. Let's go to pressure support. Now you know we're in just pressure support, and the patient has to be breathing totally spontaneously, correct? So we have pressure support above P. I have P for 5. I have pressure support of 17. My peak inspiratory pressure is 23. I have my FiO2, my inspiratory time, my trigger, and my expiratory cycle off. I have to set all of those parameters. And as long as my patient is breathing spontaneously, but I also have to set my backup ventilation. And my backup ventilation is what, in case my patient becomes totally apneic, the machine will automatically kick into that backup ventilation and ventilate your patient. So I have pressure control of 20, a rate of 15, and my IE ratio.
Should that pressure support and respiratory rate match what you've set?
No, because now your patient is breathing totally spontaneously. I don't have a rate set.
So we can just do a little bit less than what they're doing spontaneously?
If you're going to set a rate, yeah, whatever the patient's spontaneous rate is, you want to kind of set it between 12 and 20. Your peak pressure is not the same as your pressure support now. This is pressure control. What's your question?
Isn't that the I time right there? The percent? Isn't that the same thing?
What are you looking at?
Oh, the I, like it's set differently now. Right there.
The rise time?
That.
That's your rise time, inspiratory rise time, not I time. Remember what we said about
That's
rise
how fast
time?
it gets in.
How would you set it in here? The same thing, the ratio? Oh, never mind.
We're in pressure support, so you're not setting that time.
Never mind. Just,
It's rise time. Remember what rise time is, how fast
Fast.
you want it to get to
Right.
that.
yeah.
It's not your I time.
There's no
So then you would go here again? You would just do the same
No,
thing?
no,
her
no, no, no,
backup.
no.
You
This one
can't
is
do
for
that?
your backup
So you don't set
ventilation.
that on here?
Mary, we're going to grab something to eat right now. We can't do that.
Excuse me?
We're going to grab something to eat.
Oh,
Right
okay.
now, those done, and then you can go so we can do the stuff afterwards. All right?
Okay. This is for your backup ventilation, Caitlin. It's not for the patient
Yeah,
breathing
how do you
spontaneously.
determine what you
When a
set for
patient is
backup?
breathing spontaneously, you're not setting an I time.
Okay, that's
You're
all.
not,
And
Okay.
pressure
Yeah, I'm
support.
good.
because
Yeah.
the patient, when you're setting that, it's for the machine breath. When your
Okay.
patient's breathing spontaneously, you're not going to tell them how.
So you, okay, never mind.
So how do you judge what the pressure control above PEEP is that you're going to set for backup?
Based on the tidal volume of the patient that you want the patient to get. Remember what we said about pressure control?
Yeah.
You want to make sure your patient's getting an
Right.
adequate volume.
Right.
So if you have a pressure support of 17 and your patient's getting a tidal volume of, let's say, 350, then you want to make this so that you're getting somewhere near there. So I would usually set it somewhere close to what your pressure
Right, to
support
kind of match.
Kind of match.
And then if
each
you
other.
watch them and they're not getting that tidal volume, you're going to have to go back in and change.
Go back in and change it. Exactly right. So now if my patient starts to breathe spontaneously,
We did this space before, practical.
Okay, now my patient is breathing totally spontaneously. I still have flow triggering. This is my volume. This is my pressure. My patient becomes apneic and stops breathing. It's going to give him like 20 seconds. And then it's going to flip into my backup ventilation, which is pressure control. So we set the parameters. And now I'm in pressure control ventilation because it's giving me a rate, it's giving me my pressure control, and now my patient is being ventilated because he became apneic. But now my patient's going to start breathing again, and it goes back into spontaneous and lets him do his own thing. Do you understand what just happened?
If that happens throughout the night and you're not in the room with them, you'll know because you would have to look at the log to see how many times.
And if that happens too often, then they're not ready to be on spontaneous. Right.
All these are for meetings, so it's not like we're gonna be like walking away when
Well, yeah, if you put them in this mode and they're breathing on their own, you can leave them. You're not going to stand there and watch them all night. Usually, 93% of the time, they'll take some pressure support during the day, put them back on their seats at night. But even so, during the day, you're not going to be there watching the machine. I mean, even though you're going to be making periodic rounds, you're not going to be seeing every single time.
I'm just trying to compare to what we see.
There's an actual equation to figure out your, well, it tells us the equation because we don't know it.
Their heart rate's gonna shoot up.